Monty, as you all know, has much deeper connections with all of you than she does with me. But she asked me to say a few words, and so what I wanted to do was not use my words, but use Gregory's words.
Please.
And I've gone through hours and hours of raw footage, hours and hours and hours and hours of raw footage, because I never cut him off, because there was so much to learn. But I want to just tell you a couple of things from Gregory. When she asked me to share these words, I went through 12 years of footage. 12 years. And the discussions got very intimate, and I couldn't figure out what to talk about. So I left my house and I paced block after block, just thinking. And when I got to the topic of love, these were his topics, the topic of love, I stopped and I thought, that's it. And I looked down and I was standing on his star of Walk of Fame in Sacramento. And I had no idea that's where I was. That is the honest truth. So that's how I picked this topic. Gregory made 47 trips, 47 to Greece, to think, to learn, and to find myself. And that he did through color. The hardest part, he said, was blue. I've lived those colors of blue. I lived them. Storms on war-torn sea and bright, blinding suns. I'm only looking these days for a blue that can hold your heart. A blue that can hold your heart. He said his mentor was Cézanne, and if he were here today, he would reach down Cézanne's throat and pull out his heart, because that cavity is where all of the beautiful paintings live. He said, don't tell me a cavity is just for the heart. It's also storage for that blue that can hold. He said, luckily, he was born into a family that had so much love. We never, ever knew we were poor as a child because there was so much love in the family. We didn't know we were having one meal a day because we were having 24 hours a day of love. There was always a loaf somewhere. We grew up happy. As I looked around while he was talking, his blues were everywhere. And I asked him what art had done for him. And he said, quote, art made me think. When my first wife was sick and I knew she was going to die, to get away from the pain, I would go to my studio and start painting, and my mind would move over to my second love, painting for you, 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 you. It opened my heart to new love, money. I only tell you this, he said, this deeply personal sentence, to explain to you how my personal paintings are. Not one is a product, it's a piece of my heart. It's like giving birth in the male form. That's what he said. My life is my children. When they hurt, I double hurt. You get a second chance with paint, not with my kids and not with my money. When you marry an artist, the artist is so into their work that you really will argue a lot. To me, the arguing means you have spunk and can always make things new. He said, I've been through a lot. Wars, poverty, love, but never hate. He said, I may sound rough, but it's on purpose. I'm just trying to keep Monty's attention. He said that heart was more than a vessel. And for Gregory, I believe his heart is where he mixed all the colors of blue. His quote, I am not an artist. I'm a die-hard landscape painter, and I'll probably be one of the last ones left. Most importantly, please say when I am gone that I am a student, and that's all. I will die a student. My best advice, make sure that you live as a student. Make your mistakes. Take time to correct them. That's what life is all about, mistakes. That's where the painting comes from. He pulled over one of his favorite paintings in the 8x8, 10x10 studio downstairs and said, "This is one of my very favorites." And I said, "Why?" And there was a black eye in the painting. And he said, "Because it's me, it's personal. What I went through to get that black eye, no one will ever know. But it's the best painting I've ever done because it's real. You accept life with lipstick and rouge. I accept it with a big old bruise." So I said to him, "When you die, Gregory, what do you want your legacy to be?" He said, "First of all, I want people to know that after my death, I am still a student. My legacy is that everybody gets a chance to see my work or my love. This is why I believe in feeding museums, universities, and colleges. It's nothing about money in the end, and sure, I'll leave plenty to my children and wife. But I want people to enjoy my paintings. Someone can hang it out there properly and hopefully even criticize it. If I ever find fame," he said, "I only want that fame to be the ability to make you think when you look at his work." In closing, I want to say that nothing stopped Gregory from creating these paintings. Not too many years ago, he painted a 17-foot painting on a cane using what he called a stripper pole to hold himself up, rolling a walker across the room with a palette of paint made on a lunch tray. He said, "I got a C in color," and I'm going to end with this quote. 2 years later, I taught that class. "Let no one define your value." His words. Let no one define your value. I thanked Gregory for being such a good painter and mentor. And he said when he was a child, his father got 12 inches from his face and said, "Go for it. I believe in you." And he leaned over to me and said, when I told him, "Thank you for being a mentor," he said, "That's a good ending. Always be a student." Love you.